Hey, and good morning, and welcome to Robin and African Payment Solutions. This is Paytime. There's a recent report from Deloitte, and I thought that was pretty interesting on their view on Sub-Saharan Africa. So I'll run through a couple of these highlights for you. In terms of African GDP growth, in 2020 it's expected to go negative by 1.6%. And 2021 to bounce back to 4.1%, which I think is more than can be said for the rest of the world. The African economies were very quick to do proper lockdowns, having seen the experience of Asia, Europe, and the United States. And so South Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, they were quick to enforce either a partial or a full lockdown, which has helped significantly from an economic perspective. Then the high-growth economies like East and West Africa, Ghana, Côte d'Ivoire, Senegal, Ethiopia, Kenya, and Tanzania are expected to see slower GDP expansion in 2020, but still with positive growth rates. It's very interesting. I had a look at real GDP growth in the major sub-Saharan African economies. And for example, Kenya will bounce from 5.6% in 2019 to 1% in 2020, and 2021 bounces back up to 6%. Tanzania I put in as well as a runner-up. Or let me get back to that. South Africa was 0.2%. It's going to drop to negative 6%, almost 6%, 5.8%, and bounce back to 4% in 2021, which is interesting. That's a pretty strong growth. And then if we take Nigeria, I'm just doing South Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, because those are the key territories for our multinational e-commerce companies. Nigeria was 2.2% 2019 and going to negative 3.4% 2020, and 2021 goes to 2.4%. I think that probably mean quite hard hit with the oil prices. Then I thought interesting were the runner-ups, Tanzania and Ghana, who are kind of runner-up e-commerce companies. Once you've got Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa sorted, those are two that you'd probably do next. And Tanzania was 6.3% 2019, down to 2% 2020 positive, and 5% in 2021. Ghana is similar. It was 6.1% in 2019. It's going down to 1.5% for 2020 and back up to 5.9% in 2021. So those are pretty bullish forecasts. I can't think that the rest of the world's going to be enjoying as exciting growth rates. Just to drill down into the tourism and travel sector, because that's one of the biggest economies across sub-Saharan Africa, there's going to be a loss of about 6 billion in passenger revenue in 2020. The job losses in the airline and related industry, let's say tourism and travel sector, are going to be between 2 and 3 million. And at least 50 billion USD is going to be lost in revenue projected for the tourism and travel sector. So that's going to be hit really hard. Then just nothing to do with our multinational e-commerce, but just affects the economy, is that the export revenue from fuel is expected to drop by 35%. Foreign direct investment, on the market, I hear that people are contracting back to their core investments. They're not looking to fund any risky new ones. But foreign direct investment is expected to drop between 5 to 15%. And Africa could lose about 20 to 30% of its fiscal revenue. Then the remittance flows, which is not entirely our paytech game, but it's a very important part of the sub-Saharan African economy, are expected to drop by 23.1% from almost 60 billion down to almost 50 billion. So yeah, that's all from me today. That gives you a bit of context on the sub-Saharan African economies. My take on it is that, yes, they're going to be hit hard, but not quite as hard as the more developed markets. Yeah, so that's all from me today. If you're looking for payment at the checkout, card and mobile monies, come to africanpaymentsolutions.com and send us an inquiry, and we'll get those key payment methods working for your website so that consumers across sub-Saharan Africa can pay in their own country and currency. Thanks, Sybil. Have a wonderful day. We'll chat again tomorrow.